Alright, so before we get into the topic of this video, I do want to say that I have done the intro twice, which is the prologue and Act 1 and the interlude. Okay, I've done the intro twice. If I skip dialogue here in the gameplay, that's why. These are my first impressions, and I do look forward to playing through this really amazing, ambitious title, because the game's already looking up as I'm going into Act 2 and starting to wet my beak a little bit with that. So I will let you guys know when I get to any big spoilers in this little first impressions video, but just know that there's going to be a lot of footage and a lot of talking about the first act, the prologue, and the interlude. So my first impressions, unfortunately, are negative, and I know that that can be a bit of a meme on this channel, that I complain a lot, but I think it's rightfully so. This game is far from perfect, but of course any game like this has so much hype behind it that it's going to be hard for it to live up to those expectations. I think the best games that we know to be really good are games that, it became a thing before we realized it. They were more special than we realized during our first playthroughs, but they aged really well, or we grew up with them, so they're just a part of what structured our interest in gaming, so they're really hard to critique. Games like Cyberpunk or Kingdom Hearts 3, when they're in development for so many years, and all you can do is be excited for it, again, your expectations are going to raise with that time. It's the game you buy with an open mind, with no preconceived notions, that really can take you on a wild ride, especially if the style of game is scratching an itch that you have. And Cyberpunk might be scratching every itch on your body, and that's fantastic, but it didn't scratch mine. Because I went into it hoping for a more rich RPG experience, but the opening act and prologue did not deliver that at all. In fact, I'm pretty disappointed, but really intrigued. Remember, I'm very excited to play this game, and it's definitely tugging at my shirt collar even now as I'm recording this. I want to return to Night City like it's some sort of weird drug. It's actually a really cool game, but here are my issues. So, first one is that there is a general lack of choice. There wasn't one major choice you could make in Act 1 that really changed anything. I've played through Act 1 and the prologue twice now, both as Nomad, just to see if I could get there to be variance in the experience. I chose different dialogue options, and it all seemed inconsequential, like nothing really changed. I can't change the fate of characters, I can just change the order in which I talk to them. Like on my first playthrough, I talked to some lady about a thing, and on my second playthrough I bypassed her altogether. But that was only because the game said it was optional. So because it was optional, I just didn't do it in the interest of time. Maybe it'll shape my playthrough that I didn't talk to this woman, but I don't think so. If it does, then okay, cool, but it's also like, I don't really care that much. I mean the moment-to-moment choices. Overarching story stuff I can't predict in a first impressions video, but the moment-to-moment, how your character can control a situation, that felt severely lacking. The first thing that really jumped out at me was that not only did I have a lack of noticeable choice in moment-to-moment situations, is I was unable to create the character that I wanted to create. When I heard that you could pick either a street kid, nomad, or sort of corporate character, I went with nomad, because I wanted to be a fish out of water type character. But right off the bat, V already knows more about this entire world than I do, and is not afraid to tell me without actually informing me. Like, I'm playing as somebody who's lived in this world, knows a lot about how to do crime and be a badass, and I didn't feel like I got to learn any of that. A little bit about me, I like games where I play as a novice character, especially when it comes to RPGs. Characters that have been frozen for hundreds of years, characters that have lost their memory. I much prefer that, because then I feel like I'm learning with the character. That immediately connects me to the character. If I go to play as a character that's already well versed in everything, that sort of bums me out. That's why one of my favorite RPGs, despite all of its issues, is Final Fantasy XV, because it's a coming-of-age story, and so the progress feels natural in relationship to the story. Whereas the RPG elements here, where I'm making V stronger, don't make a lot of sense when V seems more capable than I am. Feels like if I was disconnected from this experience and it could continue without me, it would be better without me. I don't feel like V, I feel like I'm controlling V. V talks like a street kid even if you pick Nomad. He talks like somebody who's been in the game for a long time, and it bugs me because I kind of wanted to make a character with no cybernetic enhancements that kind of goes from being a bit of a country boy to going to the big city, and I thought that'd be really cool because then it's fish out of water and I'll progress with him. And then I was hoping my second playthrough would be like a really rough and gritty street kid playthrough where I pick more of an asshole street kid who's, you know, hardened by the city and isn't really idealistic at all. And I had these ideas, and so loading up the game, I realized that's just not fucking possible. V is an established character. You really can only tweak the things he says, but not even very well, but we'll get to that later. Look, let me put it this way. It's a shame that in a game where you can control the length of your nails and the size of your penis, I'm not able to distinguish myself through meaningful initial choices. I can't make V nice because he's always kind of a dick. I mean, he's a nice dick, but he's sort of like your weird, dangerous friend who's nice to you, but is kind of an asshole and lives life on the edge, and that doesn't fit with me at all. So honestly, one of my recommendations, if you want to feel a little bit more immersed, don't think of it as an RPG where you make your character. Just pick the default cover art V for your character and just play like that. Think of it as a story FPS versus an RPG where you can really designate how your character behaves. Honestly, from what I played of Witcher 3, which was more than half of it, I honestly feel like I had more control over Geralt's personality than I do here with V's. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but let's talk about the big elephant in the room, and that is the bugs and more glitches. Just because they are able to be ignored doesn't mean they don't ruin the experience. I hear a lot of people saying that even though they ruin the immersion a little bit, they didn't ruin the fun, you know? To me, they don't ruin the fun, but my initial playthrough of this game is going to be tainted by these bugs. Deep emotional dialogue and interesting conversations being ruined by bugs and graphical errors, you know, just exploring the city and watching all the textures around you freak the fuck out really bothers me. I'm playing on an Xbox Series X, and they didn't launch the game with a Series X update. All I can do is turn it up to 60 FPS. So, not bad, but could be a lot better. But when the frame rate drops because the game's poorly optimized, or characters, NPCs just freeze, or move in a random erratic way, when the game soft locks, when things are clipping into each other, when the game just starts to fall apart, it doesn't feel immersive anymore. The game really isn't a sandbox, so funny physics things aren't really funny to me when they're impacting what really should be an immersive story experience. At least that's how I see it. So no, I can play the game, but don't pretend this doesn't make the game worse. And if anything, it is sort of fitting the criteria of ruining something. I can go watch Fellowship of the Ring with a 3-year-old screaming in my ear with subtitles on and I'll kind of get the gist of it, but is that really the way you want to experience that story? No. And the entire prologue thing is kind of a joke, and it really hurts the immersion here as well. The intro is too damn fast and completely unsatisfying. I was not hyped up by the intro to this game at all, picking the Nomad thing twice and doing different dialogue options in each playthrough. I can't figure out what I'm supposed to be excited about, and I have this crazy idealist view that the start of a big RPG should captivate me. Like the beginning of Persona 5 or Ghost of Tsushima. Those are openings of games that blew my fucking socks off. It's like, I gotta see what's happening next. Cyberpunk put me in the body of an unlikable douchebag and said, "Ayo, go to the city." I wanted to enter the city and learn the ropes firsthand as a character new to the city. But instead, I get a quick montage and some text that says that I've been there for 6 months. To make this complaining more constructive, let me give you an example of what I wanted. There's a segment in the montage where you can see that V and Jackie have been living with Jackie's mom. Makes sense, they're a little bit, you know, poor. Being new to the city and all, I would have loved at least one mission where you have to do some chores for Jackie's mom, and then V decides that, you know, he'd much rather live on his own. But oh well, I guess I have to see that in a montage. So even though I picked Nomad, which is somebody that hasn't been in the city yet, I play as somebody who has been in the city for a while. So how do you start me outside the city but still make me play as somebody who's already been in the city? That's dumb. Oh well. What really stood out to me while I was streaming the game is that the mechanics of the game are weak. Hacking things can be kind of fun. I will totally give the game that. It kind of feels like Watch Dogs, but a little less spectacular. But either way, I don't mind that. But I'm talking basic mechanics. I mean, aiming and shooting feels awkward and clunky on controller. I don't know how that got past QA. Like, it feels miles worse than games like Rage 2, Far Cry 5, or even Fallout 4 on console. Yeah, 2 of those games are locked to 30 FPS on console, mind you, and I have an easier time shooting people freehand, no weird slowdown or anything, just I have a better time killing people in Far Cry 5 and Fallout 4 with just a gun, just, you know, pointing it and shooting their head with it. I have way more luck in those games. Like, this is so sad. I was hoping that I'd have a good experience playing in 60 FPS, but I don't know. You need snap aim on, which I hate snap aim in video games, but I have to have it on because there's so much bullshit that feels like it's getting in the way of aiming. I don't know what it is. There's like no proper aim assist slowdown or tracking. So they just want they want me to snap on target. It feels floaty, unresponsive, like there's maybe some input delay as well. And there's so many things in the settings I have to switch down to 0 to get a good feeling twin stick experience. I don't know how this is acceptable. Battlefield is on console, runs okay. Siege, okay. Far Cry, Fallout, Far Cry, Call of Duty, they're all fine. But this is one of those games, just warning you, that reminds you, if you're playing with a controller, that controllers kind of suck. It's not like Call of Duty where you can forget that you're playing on controller because the aim assist is just so, and the response curves are just so, and the responsiveness is just so. Not a thing here. You will be reminded that controller monkey sticks suck. And I would play with controller anyway, even on PC, because of the driving. So even if I had this on PC, I feel like this would still be an issue, which is very frustrating to think about. Also, it's kind of a game I want to kick back and play, which is harder to do with a keyboard and mouse for me, either way. This is an FPS channel, and one of the things I say about video games all the time is that, first, it has to feel good. If the base mechanics don't feel good, then a really great story or really great graphics matter a whole lot less to me if it's not fun to actively play and interact with. Like, I love Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, but the controls and how clunky it is makes it so I never want to play it again. But when it comes to Phantom Pain, the story isn't as good, but it's satisfying to play. It's enjoyable to control. Like, I don't know how they had this much dev time and no one at CDPR noticed how shit the controller feels to use. So, if aiming and shooting aren't very fun, maybe driving is better? Nah. Driving is shallow and unpolished, just like the aiming and shooting. Driving in open world games is always a little meh, but it really stands out here next to the shitty gunplay. Like, I don't like the driving in Rage or Ghost Recon Breakpoint either, but when I want to fight enemies in those games, it feels intuitive and snappy to do so. I wrote some things down about progression, but I'm gonna save progression talk until after I've beaten the main storyline. I'll talk to you guys about that in a different video. So yeah, it's much too early to tell how much I'll enjoy it later down the line because it's a progression system. I haven't progressed in it enough yet to really judge. I will say the starting abilities and stuff I've unlocked are really boring. Like, oh, 3% more damage with handguns or some shit. It's not interesting, but it doesn't bug me. But are you ready for my real issue? It's just how disappointing the free roam is. Like, from shop owners that you can't interact with, to them not even knowing how cops work. Like, okay, first of all, shop owners you can't interact with really bothers me in any game, but this game is shockingly bad with this. Okay, they're scattered among the city, and the NPCs don't even talk to you like they know they're behind a counter at a store. Like, walking up to an NPC that's clearly at a food stand selling food, pressing talk, and them going, "Hey, got a cigarette?"
Hola.
Aren't you selling something? Not, I'm not selling to you, or something like, oh, we're closed, or we're out of food, or I don't like the cut of your jib, you're not getting any food. Nothing like that. It'd be kind of a fun little texture to the city if, like, they're just super discriminatory and only certain places serve you food. They're like, I don't like you, get out of here. Like, it would add to the harshness of the city. They could even have had a little, line of dialogue about it. But there's nothing like that. You can't, it just doesn't, it's completely undercooked. Like, even finding a prostitute, to make God cry, is simplified down to talking to the person that has the fuck me icon above their head. It's not like GTA 5 where you can look at girls that are very obviously hookers and then invite them into your car to make God cry. There's nothing like that. You have to go find the AI, the NPC, with the icon above their head that says you can seduce me. Or pay for me. I don't think you have to seduce prostitutes. Or when you go to a bar and ordering, air quotes, is simply just being given a menu and clicking on the items in the menu to store in your inventory or consume. There's no animation for it. It's lame. Like, sometimes I wish this city was created by Rockstar. And as this interactability sort of fails around me and the city seems more and more dead than alive despite its awesome appearance, it really makes me feel like I'm playing something more like Rage or Far Cry than an actual RPG from the people that made Witcher. One of the things that really adds to this shit is the thing I mentioned earlier. Like, text interactions suck because V does not say the actual thing that you select. Alright, I'm kinda lying, V does say what you select. He just always does it with this rude, sarcastic cadence that comes off as trying too hard to be cool. I mean, there's an option where you can click Jackie, what gives, but when you select it, it says, Jesus, Jackie, what gives? Like, it just, like he's put out with everything he has to say, and like he's too cool for the room. It's irritating. So far, I think Fallout 4 is better when it comes to talking to people, and that shouldn't be the case. Like, CD Projekt Red should have looked at all the backlash Fallout 4 got for giving you text options, selecting one, and the character saying something along the same lines, but in a hostile or shitty way. So when it comes down to it, I think Fallout and Elder Scrolls did RPG stuff a lot better. Rage and Far Cry did combat way better. Red Dead Redemption 2, Grand Theft Auto 5 did free roam better. And if I'm gonna throw something else in here, Persona 5 did roaming the city better than Cyberpunk. Roaming an open world city is not a new concept in video games, and it really sucks when this doesn't seem to innovate in any meaningful way other than appearance. Like, this game's a looker, the scale and density of the city is impressive. When not being distracted by bugs, I am actually quite immersed. But it's just as soon as I try to interact with it, it tells me to go fuck myself. Or if I enter a part of town where enemies are way too high level for me and I can put 3 magazines of a pistol in the back of somebody's head, even though I spec'd into pistols, and then they just turn around and one-shot me, it really reminds me that I'm playing a video game. And I've played a game recently that really reminded me that I was playing a video game all the way through, and that was Ghost of Tsushima. It's as open world video game as open world video games get. But it was a perfection of that medium. It was honestly just a near flawless interpretation of what that style of game should be like.
Cons. Suspected organized crime activity reported on Martin Luther King Boulevard. Members of the Valentinos engaged in smuggling and trafficking operations. The group is led by Miguel Rodriguez.
I'm now 7 hours into Cyberpunk 2077 and I've done the intro twice, and I have no idea where this game is innovating past other games that are similar to it. I feel like when I was told I could customize my teeth and my nails and my wiener, that I thought this game was going to be in depth. But just from the character creation screen, where I can make my nails short or long, or paint them, or make my wiener kinda big, and pretty big, like, I realized that, oh, the reports of the depth have been greatly exaggerated. Like, the game, guys, can't even do cops right. They just teleport in on you when you make a whoopsie and lose interest when they can't find you for like 15 seconds. It's stupid. They don't come around the corner, they don't send cop cars to surround you, they don't send a big drone over you. No, when you commit a crime, the cops just teleport around you. Seriously, if you own the game right now, go shoot somebody in broad daylight and then just circle the camera around and wait for them to spawn on you. And then run in a straight line for 15 seconds until they're no longer interested. So, spoiler time now. Please click away if you don't want any big spoilers. Thank you for watching the video. Goodbye. Starting the game with this bad impression, plus killing the only likable character, is a bad sign. And I want to be angry about it. Because, overall, nothing about the game, other than a couple of moments and a couple of lines of dialogue, and overall, Jackie in general as a character, I honestly have no idea how they thought this was an acceptable opening for you to play. It doesn't put anything that I want in a game like this on display for me to be excited about. This is the wrong way to open up a game. This is all preliminary, it's so far, it's first impression, so please don't jump down my throat if you've already beaten the game 3 times in the last 2 days, and I just don't know what I'm talking about because I'm a big dumbass. But killing such a likable character right in the beginning of the game just kills all of my enthusiasm when it comes to, am I going to enjoy the story? Because already the only thing from the intro that I enjoyed is gone now. So now we wait. But at the risk of sounding cheesy, at the risk of sounding dumb, Night City is calling me back, even now as I record this. I really want to see what's in store for V and Johnny Silverhand. I really want to try to get immersed in the city. I want the game to prove me wrong. I want to go in every nook and cranny. I want to stream things for you guys. I like the game, but I don't know if I really do or not. It's like, part of me was so excited for this that I don't want to be disappointed. So maybe my brain is it's just protecting itself. But really, if I'm being honest, I do think there's a quality game here. I just think this is the wrong way to open to it. But this video has gone on long enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do talk about things that aren't Call of Duty, so if you enjoyed this video at all, subscribe. And if you like the video, it'll show me that you want me to make more content like this. So if you want more content like this, please share the video and like it. I know the video isn't super spectacular. This isn't a skill up review or anything, but some of you guys care about my opinions, so the best way to support the video right now is by liking it, because that tells me that you are interested. Thank you so much for coming by. I'll see you later. See ya. When I see ya. That's the outro.